I'm gonna put on a founding fathers wig for y'all tonight because I need for y'all to get this. I'll give you a nasty old founding fathers wig for this live. Shout out to my good sister Octavia, who made sure I had this good wig. Make sure you share this live and invite your friends because this is definitely gonna be an interesting topic tonight. And whew, this is gonna be a good topic tonight, baby. Just baby, I got some things I won't get off my chest. Honey, I'm about to say it with my chest and get it off my chest. Empathy! Where your charger at? Can I see it? What you doing? You coming or you staying? What you doing? No, I was talking to Queen Fatima. So we're gonna talk about building leadership in the trans community, in the black trans community in particular, because we definitely can't leave out that struggle. Cause the it, the the merging of the two, um, we got to be careful to leave not to leave out these nuances. Now I'm not particularly in a big word mood this evening. So I want to warn you, I'm probably gonna cuss a few times. So if you came on here looking for PC, you came on here hoping for PC, not the name. Not tonight, Bookie. This is not a PC night, but let me not tonight, Bookie. This is not a PC night. But I need to share this. So just give me a little patience. Oh, excuse me. I was watching the guy Alfonso who plays in P Valley. And I was watching him, respond to the comments about him playing that role in P Valley. And I really appreciated, the fact that he stand there firm. Like it kind of felt like he was using, well, he did say that, he getting a chance to touch people and inspire people. But I also kind of feel like he linked into the aspect of the money that he's making to justify it. And child, what you doing is bigger than a coin. Is not just about the money. We not even much finna pretend like, you know, you you put yourself in such a vulnerable position, and allowed your image to be depicted in that light just so you can get a coin. Like, we know it was bigger than a coin. Okay, we know it's bigger than a coin, Alfonso. Um, you around here healing souls and giving the children breakthroughs, with what you're doing. But anyway, um, I want to talk about building collective power in the community, in the Black community, in the trans community, and I want to talk about why that's been so difficult for me. First, I want to be responsible and say, um, there's been more few instances where I've been a part of the problem, and ignorant, um, not fully understanding my power, my purpose, my worth, holding on to ideas and ways of interacting with people that just really wasn't serving me. You know, I even got caught up in our appearance. I still think it's important to celebrate, our indigenous and aboriginous roots. I think it's important to love yourself as you are. I agree with Flame when she said if you don't love yourself before transition, you're not gonna love yourself after transition. So I definitely agree with that. But everybody doing drag. The men are performing drag, male drag. Females are performing female drag. Trans women are performing trans drag. Um, Gay men are performing gay men drag. Like everybody in drag. The world is a drag show. Everybody doing drag. So sitting here worrying about how people choose to present or what they choose to cater to or what they choose to give life to, or sow their energy into. I don't have time for that. To be sitting up here worrying about what other people are choosing to do with their life. But then don't sit back and holler erasure if every picture you ever took you had on a straight wig. Don't sit here and talk about erasure if every time you took a picture you had on highlighter powder that made you 3 shades lighter than what you really was. If your damn avatar looked like it's Caucasian and we know you're a red bone. Like, don't don't erase yourself and then complain about being erased. Like, don't erase the documentation of Black and queer people and indigenous people by shucking and jiving and always trying to get massa attention, always trying to do what you think is gonna please massa. You know what I'm saying? This system, like you're living for the system, you're doing everything to please the system, and then when you look back and you don't see any representation of you, it's because you didn't represent you. I'm gonna say that again for the slow people. You didn't see any representation of yourself because you didn't represent you. Don't try to blame other people for not representing you when you don't even represent yourself. Like, now I understand people like Billy Porter and Kanye West, all of the ones that we call coons and we say they tap dancing and they doing this. Child, it's because when you look into the community, the Black community is one thing, but then when you start to get into the queer community, it's a whole another layer of trauma and just bullshit that we have to deal with. People being people being difficult just for the sake of being difficult. Like like and what gets me the most is people like like in the community, everybody want to be the chief, but everybody don't want to do chief work. Like I would love to be a part of a tribe where there was like 100 chiefs, or it was like 200 chiefs, and everybody was just on some chief stuff, and everybody was just making chief moves. Everybody was just handling chief business. Okay, we could all be chiefs if we all handling chief business, but that's not the case. Like, and this is what I noticed with people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? And now I understand what happened. It's the arrogance, and it's the entitlement. Like it's so many of us, and this is where I think that kings and queens narrative and black people are guys narrative, I think that's when it starts to become unhelpful to us sometimes, because we start to get self-absorbed. We start to think so much of ourselves that it becomes counterproductive to a movement. Because when you're trying to get things done, this is why I say, when you claim divinity, don't just claim divinity to sit on a throne. Understand that leadership is about service. It's a two-part thing. Like, when a politician isn't elected, they're not elected to rule over you. They're elected to serve you. They're a servant of community. When police officers get the job to become police officers, they're not your overseer. They're your protector. They serve community. They serve and protect. And so a lot of these roles and these positions that we've created in society need to be revisited, because we really have a diluted and misconceived idea about what it's really hitting for. Like, these people are put in these positions to serve us. So when you are a leader, you are a servant to your tribe. You are the one who is making sure that needs get met and that goals get accomplished. You are overseeing that, not people. Whether they work with you or they don't do no work at all, the buck stops with you. And we have so many people in the community who want to be chiefs, but will not do chief work. And this is like a few of the reasons why I don't have a nonprofit and why I never got a nonprofit. One reason was because I didn't want to be tied up with the government. I didn't want to be entangled with the government and caught up with the government. But now I'm starting to realize, child, that you can't avoid that. Stop. I need to stop stifling myself trying to hold on to this way that I want to do things, because ultimately it's not serving where I want to go in my future, what I want to accomplish in my future. I'm going to have to, let go of some of these hangups that I have with working with the government, if I ever want to truly realize the amount of success that I want to experience before I leave this reality. And I gotta stop worrying about what people gonna say about me, worrying about what people gonna think. The most important thing is that I can sleep at night and that I feel comfortable with the choices that I made. And as I grow and as I become wiser, I'm becoming more comfortable and I'm starting to see the bigger picture. And I no longer have the energy to be stressed over things that are not serving me and helping me get where I feel I need to be. I'm not upset about how long it's taken me to get here. I'm just glad that I got here. And I'm thankful that I have all this knowledge and wisdom now. Whereas if I would have done it a couple of years ago, so many people would have took advantage of me. A lot of people like to take my kindness for weakness, but no, like, I let a lot of stuff slide because it's just simply not that important to me. And I try to stay focused on the bigger picture. And people think because I let stuff slide that I'm not really paying attention, but I am. It's just not that important to me. A lot of times it's just not that important to me. Like, because I know what my goals are. I know what I want to accomplish. But I can remember when I was getting ready to start a nonprofit with New Legacy, the reason why I did not start the nonprofit is because the girls was lazy. Like, most of the girls around me, they was lazy. This is why most of the girls in my community, they're working for somebody else. Like, yeah, I'm working for an organization right now, but I've always had my own thing going on the side. I've always, wrote me a couple of grants on the side. I've always been able to sell my art, or do something on the side, not just sex work, to be able to earn resources, to be able to create um, opportunities when I needed them, not just for myself, but for other people. So I've always had a mind of being able to be independent and just not be totally dependent on any entity, not dependent on no SSI check, not dependent on no government, not dependent on no nonprofit, not dependent on these things. I appreciate all of them, and I'm gonna use all of them to my benefit, but just to not be dependent, not to put all my eggs in one basket. And I think that's what I try to inspire other people to do. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But what I notice in my community is, we really good with working for massa. Like, we really good with being up on the plantation. Like, we really happy that we don't have to be visionaries and self starters and come up with infrastructure and create, new ways of being, new ways of navigating society, new ways of creating culture and community. Like, a lot of us don't want to do that. We totally fine with the way things are. We just want our check. And I'm starting to get that now. And the part that gets me with that is, you want a big check. Like you want to ask for all of this money, but you wasn't there for all of the work that had to be done to even get to a place to be able to write you a check. You weren't there sowing the time and being committed and being loyal to get us to that place. What you were doing was sitting around complaining, sitting around condemning, and sitting around saying, you know what, you need to watch that person and you can't trust that person. Like, it's so much of that in our community. Like, watch this person, you can't trust that person. Like, and the old folks used to say all the time, the one that tell you you need to watch this person, that's the one you need to watch. I'm watching the one who told me to watch them. I mean, and it's just a sad thing. Like, years ago, when I was ready to start the nonprofit, like I said, I did not start it because I know what I was gonna do. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. If I would have started New Legacy and I would have went through all the work of filing that paperwork and paying lawyers and doing all of that work, child, I would have been a slave driver. Basically, because I don't know what person in their right mind gonna sit up here and exhaust themselves trying to create an organization and then turn around and treat everybody as equals. Like, who does that? Like, why would I treat you like an equal when you wasn't moving like an equal to begin with? So now I'm gonna do all this work, set up all this infrastructure, write bylaws, write policies, write for procedures. I'm gonna go talk to funders, get the money. I'm gonna do all that, and then when everything is set up, I'm just gonna give you equal. And then when you start talking about, let's collaborate on the infrastructure, let's collaborate on what the building of the entity looks like, let's collaborate on what the idea of the organization looks like, let's have that conversation. When you're ready to have that conversation, everybody gone to Bird Box. You went to Bird Box. You're not there for that, but you there for that check though. You're there when people talk about money. You're there when the conversation happens about resources. But what are you sowing besides hardships, pessimism, being difficult just for the sake of being difficult. And y'all can say a lot of things about me, but anybody who's been around me, yes, I have strong convictions and I stand on them. But I am not difficult for the sake. I'm just going to be difficult just to be difficult. I'm just going to make it hard for you just to make it hard for you. And you know what? I'm going to give a lackluster performance, show lackluster support, but when it's time for you to divide up them coins, when you start issuing out coins, I want my full helping. Snoop Doggy Dogg said it best. Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. And Gin and Juice, Snoop Dogg said everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. And then we have another situation that goes on a lot of times in the trans community and in the black community. This happens amongst cis men or heterosexual natal-born beings who identify with the construct of manhood, and the same with natal-born females who identify with the construct of womanhood. There's this thing where a lot of times men don't respect women in positions of authority or women's of power. And there's a similar thing that happens in the trans community where you have certain pre-ops that don't respect girls who are castrated or post-op because these girls look a little bit softer or these girls look a little bit more feminine, and so you don't really see it for these girls. You don't really see these girls as authoritative and girls who are deserving of respect because you looking at their physical frame and you don't feel like it's a match for your physical frame. But everything is not about brute force. That's what's supposed to separate the humans from the animals. The fact that we don't have to charge at everything like barbarians. The fact that we are supposed to be able to reason and work out our differences through dialogue, conversation, and communication. And so there are pre-op trans women that just do not respect post-op and post-op trans women and trans women who've had orchiectomies. Y'all just don't see it for that girl. Y'all feel like that girl is weak and vulnerable. But a lot of times those girls you lose one thing, you lose strength, the testosterone, but your mind then becomes stronger because you've made a sacrifice that causes you to have to look at the world through an expanded consciousness. Your consciousness is now expanded. And y'all don't see the validity in that because y'all don't even want to have that conversation because you feel like in a lot of cases that it somehow threatens your claim to womanhood. And all of these differences, I look at my sister. Somebody told me earlier today, they brought Geisha, Shia Diamond up to me. And they were saying Shia Diamond, and it was really positive stuff they were saying about her. They were saying Shia Diamond was worth $6 million. And so it was like, Google her. She worth millions. She got this contract and she done this. And so I went on her Instagram today and clicked like on a few pictures, and I was happy, and I'm happy for her. But I've kind of stayed clear. I haven't really talked to Shia in a long time because, Shia's way of getting to where she's getting, is different from mine. It's just certain things that I'm just not willing to do. And I'm sure it's certain things that I would do that other girls aren't willing to do. Like, like I'm sure it's certain things, certain positions that I would put myself in that other girls wouldn't put themselves in. Like, we're not all meant to take the exact same path. We're not all meant to do things the exact same way. But because, I'm really just like, I learned a lot from Shia's music, excuse me. It's hard. Like, people do that to me. I be wanting people to say Kaneen and people still be like Tila because that's how they met me. So it's not disrespect to her. I know her name is Shia, but because that's who I met and that's who I bonded with, sometimes I trip up and I say, the old name. But, I know her name is Shia. But you know, I just couldn't see myself I couldn't see myself being in a position to I couldn't see myself being the type of girl she is, because I feel like it's almost comical a lot. And as much as I want to be a comedian, um and I'm comfortable with, like, being vulnerable, like taking pictures that some people would say aren't flattering, or making fun of my own flaws, or making fun of things about myself. Like, I'm comfortable with that, but I'm not comfortable as always being seen. Like I don't want to always be seen as something that's kind of comical, or something that's like some type of satire. Like, for me, I don't want to always be depicted like that. And maybe that's ego. Maybe that's my ego. And maybe that's keeping me from being worth a million. And this is not just about Shia. Like even with Amaya Scott, like, and I have a lot of respect for Amaya, but Amaya, to me, is too silent. She's beautiful, but what does she really think? Nobody really knows, because we never really hear her talk. Like, there's been a few times we've heard her talk, but we never really hear her talk. And so I look at so many of the girls' examples. I look at them from Pose. The one who won. I think she won an award. I can't really think of her name right now, but she was on Pose. She was a light skinned girl, and there was a lot of light skinned girls on there, so you could get confused about that statement. But she was the one that actually won an award, and, like, when I look at her, there's rumors swirling around about her, that she's not really trans, and that they're really just a gay male, and for they dress up for show, and so, and that really kind of, like, hits the community hard, because when we give a trans woman an award, yeah, we want her to be authentic. We want her to be, if she's confident enough not to go and get breast implants, or to feel like she need to get a sex change, no, she shouldn't have to do that. She should be able to be flat chested and be able to give boy in the daytime. And if she's what we've normally called boy, she should be able to give all of that, and still her trans womanness still be respected. But unfortunately, that's not the society that we live in. We live in a society that has indoctrinated us into this belief that trans women are supposed to look like this. Trans women are supposed to be invested. Trans women are supposed to. And so the first time a trans woman gets an award, it's a trans woman who literally can take off her hair and put on boy clothes and give you a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like Caitlyn Jenner getting in drag, or Caitlyn Jenner transitioning and starting to put on female clothes and then winning Woman of the Year. Like, I am not mad at her for winning. I'm happy for her, but I just, when I look at her narrative, that's not a narrative I would want for myself, because I wouldn't want those type of questions to be swirling around about me, where people are, questioning my identity within the community. This was another reason why I had to create Laylim Layler, because with a whole sex change, people were questioning my identity. So the things that have been said about that young lady, um, they're not surprising. They're not surprising. So when I look out on so many narratives, I also like Electra from Pose. She was the mother of Reeds on Pose. But I think a lot of times why Electra is celebrated is because even though she's really a dark skinned girl, and I can't think of what her real name is right now, but even though she's a dark skinned girl, she talks very, the way she communicates gives you colonizer. Like it just, it sounds like her ancestors could have been straight up colonizers. And this is no shade. Like, I live for her, like, literally, I live for her. Like, I've copied a lot of the things that she says and actually made videos like redoing it. But I asked myself, do I want that to be my legacy? Like, if I was to drop dead right now, would I want to be the girl that you knew for really, really just serving you colonizer all the time? Like, every time I open my mouth, if you didn't have a face to go with it, you would think that the colonizer was talking to you. And so I think that's my struggle with her. Like, I look at trans women who are visible and who are in positions of authority. Like, I look at Janet Mock. Janet Mock is beautiful. Janet Mock is intelligent. Janet Mock is creative. But I feel like Janet has had to align herself with certain things and certain ideals in order to get to where she is. And I feel like it's kind of silenced her a little bit. I feel like it's kind of put her in a position to where, as like when Janet Mock finally opened up and expressed some of the hurt and the things that she was feeling, like, people literally tried to use the crazy card on her. Like, people literally tried to make this woman crazy. The first time she showed some emotion and had an outburst, like, they tried to make her crazy. And so when you're not allowed to be human, and when you're not allowed to have an outburst, or you're not allowed to misstep, or you're not allowed to miss the mark, or you're not allowed to go off target, like, and anytime you're under that much scrutiny, like, you really pigeonholed yourself into a little small corner. And that's not something that I ever want to do to myself. I'm not trying to pigeonhole myself into a little small corner. I need room to grow. I need room to be. I need room to exist. And I try to create room for others because I need space for me. That's why I present in different ways. That's why I dress different ways. That's why I don't give you the same look all the time. That's why I don't always come the same way. That's why I switch it up a little bit, because I'm making space to extend grace. I'm extending grace so that grace will be extended to me. Don't expect me to always be on it. Don't expect me to always have on a lash for you. Don't expect me to always have on a lace front for you. Don't expect for me to always be dressed to the nines. Don't expect for me to always be physically what you want to see. Don't have these expectations from me, because I may be working on other stuff. I may be working on something that requires a little bit more mental intellect. I might be working on something that requires a little bit more spiritual intellect. I might be engulfed in a process where I need to neglect some other things in order to become stronger in other areas. I need for you to understand that that's a part of my process. I can't grow if I'm consistently moving in the same way every day. I got to switch it up a bit. When a plant is growing, if all of this over here is blocked off and it's a space over here and it leans that way, guess what? That plant might have to change its pattern and it may have to move that way in order for it to continue to thrive and move forward. So sometimes we have to change our course and change our direction and move in a different way in order for us to continue to move forward and experience these things that we need to experience. So when you see me moving different, when you see me changing my direction, understand that's necessary for growth. There are people, and I don't want this video to be super long, and I'm already at 30 something minutes. But I just wanted to, share this because I'm really like, yesterday was supposed to be a beautiful day. It was supposed to be an amazing day. We went to Philly. We hung out with one of my biological sisters. Like she's not my biological sister, but she's a biological female. And I love her like a sister. And it was supposed to be a beautiful day, but I mean, I kind of felt like it was overshadowed, by a whole bunch of questions. It left me with questions, and none of them had anything to do with her. She was a great host. Everyone treated us well. We enjoyed ourselves. The trip, what I thought was amazing, but it exposed, some things that I just don't know how to deal with, and I'm just disgusted with always being depicted as the bad guy, because I'm not a yes ma'am. I'm not a go along to get along. I don't mind helping. Like this is like people have me misconstrued. Like I will volunteer, I will help clean up, I will help set up. Like I don't mind contributing and supporting and showing up for other people, but I need you to contribute and show up for me. And not just show up because it benefits you. Like show up because every time I show up, it doesn't always benefit me right there in that moment. See, I'm a person who understands the long game. I've always had vision to be able to see beyond now, and so I see potential for other things, and that is why I will support people even when they may not have anything that they can give me that may be useful right there in that moment. And that's another thing that I've had to check myself on. I remember one time I was talking to this guy, and he was always telling me these beautiful words and saying kind, affirmations to me and encouraging me. And because I was still in whole mentality, thinking about how could I get a coin out of a situation? How can I monetize off this? What can I get financially out of this guy? And I remember he told me, he said, my words are valuable and we life to you, and when I encourage you, like don't take that for granted. And I had to check myself on that, because sometimes when a person is encouraging you and when a person is speaking life to you and when a person is nurturing you with their utterance and saying things to you that are a blessing to you, don't take that for granted. That's a beautiful thing when you have people out here who are willing to bless you, speak life to you, and encourage you, and they don't always have anything monetary for you. But there are people who don't have anything monetary for you, They ain't offering you no support. They ain't offering you no words of encouragement. They ain't offering you no words of empowerment. But the moment you hit a lick, the moment you get a little coin, the moment you're doing good, all of a sudden they're your friend. All of a sudden you matter. All of a sudden you're important. Miss me with the fake bullshit. When other people begin to see you and validate you, and people, resources and people who have access, when those people start to see it for you, then all of these naysayers who was hating on you see, and that's another place where I can relate to Flame. This is why she doesn't have loyalty to the LGBT community, because they didn't really see it. They didn't see it for her beyond doing drag shows. They wanted her to be up there pantomiming for the rest of her life, and that girl said, "No, I'm tired of working for these dollars." You know, the community will have you pantomiming for the rest of your life. They don't want the girl to get to a next level. You better sing for this. You better lip sync for this dollar, not lip sync for your life. Lip sync for this dollar. And Flame was tired of lip syncing for dollars. So now I'm at this point in my life where, I'm finna start moving differently again. My circle is going to get smaller, and I'm gonna start paying more attention to everybody, that is in my life, and everybody who's coming around me, and just seeing how they're being there for me and how they're supporting me. Because, I have a vision and I'm trying to accomplish things and I'm trying to do things, and I know I can't do them on my own. I can't do none of this without support. I can't do it by myself. I need, loyalty. I need people to support me and to believe in the work that I'm doing, so that I can continue to do it, so that I could be inspired. I need, love, nurturing, and encouragement. I need these things. And I'm not finna pretend like I could pull myself up by my bootstraps and I could do all of this by myself. But, you have to have people in your life who can share your vision. And it's no longer, and it doesn't have to feel like it's my vision, because this is the same vision you had. I just named it. We having the same vision. I just named it. And continue to name it. Like literally, it's the same vision. I just named it. And I didn't even name it by myself. Even the naming was channeled. So when you're trying to build community, you have to be willing to deal with people in a way you want to be dealt with. And if you're not willing to do chief work, don't take up chief space. If you're not willing to do the work of this person who is driving this, if you're not willing to do that kind of work, don't take up that kind of space, because it's rude, it's selfish, and it's counterproductive. It's not useful, it's useless. Don't sit up here and complain about being erased and being a minority and being mistreated and being abused and being neglected when you're around here erasing yourself, and then when opportunities are being given to you to build, because it wasn't already a deal that you could run with, you had to do some work to get it to where it is. Like when I look at these girls now who have organizations and I hear rumors about how they run their organization like a slave master or like an overseer, child, I'm not mad at that girl. That girl did all the work behind the scenes. She did most of the work, and y'all was coming up in here doing some grunt work. Yeah, you helped set up some chairs, and you swept and you mopped, and you probably didn't do that, half of y'all. You know, you gave a few encouraging words, and yes, girl, you breaking it up. But girl, was you there when she was sitting up all night long writing grants? Did you help with that? Did you go with her when she went to go and speak with the funders? Did you go with her when she talked to the lawyer to get incorporated and to get the nonprofit status? Like, were you there for that? Like, were you supporting her? Like, were you really being consistent? Or were you just somewhere worried about yourself? Caught up in the illusion of yourself, that you weren't worried about the legacy of yourself and those that are coming behind you. So that's a very important question to ask yourself. Yes, I am sitting up here like I'm, doing a live during COVID. You know how you be beat on the top and have on pajamas at the bottom? Yeah, that's me. But yeah, I think I said everything that I wanted to say in this video. I did not want to talk forever. I just wanted to vent, in the Founding Fathers Week about I just wanted to vent about how hard it is, how challenging it is to try to build community in a community that, you add on the layers, of everything that we're dealing with in society, as a people, and then we turn around and add more confusion to the pot by just being difficult for the sake of being difficult. And I want to apologize to everyone who I've ever offended or, or said something malicious to, out of ignorance. I've said some mean things about, or some unpopular or unfavorable things about a number of girls, and I'm gonna keep it one. I'm gonna keep it a beam. Some people that I said stuff about, I mean it and I still mean it. But it doesn't mean that I will not be cordial to you. It doesn't mean that I will not treat you with respect. It doesn't mean that when I'm in your presence, I'll shade you, because I'm not a person. I'm bigger than that. Don't confuse me with you. I've met girls in person who I did not like or who I did not particularly care for, and I was still cordial when I met them. I'm not that small or that simple or that petty that I'm going to see somebody that I don't fuck with and I got to make a big deal. No, I'm not like that. That's not my character. That's your character. And what you're doing is projecting. A lot of times when we see the maliciousness in other people and the wicked in other people, and we see other people as threats, or we see other people as evil, it's because that's what exists in you. Get out the mirror. Oh my. Anyway, I think this video was long enough. I think I said everything that I wanted to say. I'm not going to stop building and creating in community, but I just don't look at things the same anymore. I'm just not there anymore. I'm not with I'm not with trying to prioritize people who don't prioritize me. I'm not with trying to sow into people that don't sow into me. And it doesn't mean that I don't love you. It just means that right now I'm focusing with great intentions on what I want to leave behind. Just in case, for some strange reason, I or anything that is connected to me has to come back through a portal into this realm. I want to do the very best that I can to create a space where we could ask questions, where we can just be without having to live up to other people's expectations of what that looks like. Mm. And in a sincere and authentic space. And I know it's going to take work to get there. And I'm willing to continue to do that work. But in order to do that work in the most effective way possible, I'm going to have to really, really, really reevaluate the people that I'm in community with. And it's heartbreaking because you realize that the people that you wanted to come up with, it may not you may not be meant to come up with them. It's just like when I came back from Atlanta and moved back to New Orleans, after being in Atlanta for a few years, after Katrina happened. I was coming back home because I wanted to help, sisters. I wanted to help sisters who were from my generation, sisters who I knew, sisters who were close to my generation, daughters and nieces, in the community. I thought, I was going to be helping them. Child, like I say all the time, like they said in New Jack City, this shit was bigger than Nino Brown. And half of the girls who I envisioned, having all the dreams with are gone. They passed on. They went on to another part of the journey. They probably done been reincarnated again by now because most of them passed over 10 years ago. And I thought that I was going to build with them and have with them, and it wasn't meant. And here I am now in the same predicament. I done, found new community members and new people that I could build bonds with. And I just have to accept the fact that some of them are not I'm not gonna have that mountaintop experience with them. And as much as I might want to have it, is not meant. Because if it was, then people would shift themselves and shift their being to accommodate the vision. I don't need you to be a yes man. I don't need you to agree with everything that I say. But I also don't need you to be difficult just to be difficult. And if I say left, you say right. If I say up, you say down. If I say orange, you say apple. Just for the sake of doing it. Because that weakens the foundation, and you can't build on a weak foundation. It's good to add perspective. It's good to add ideas. It's good to say, okay, I like that. Well, let's look at it this way. Or let's add this perspective. But being contrary just for the sake of being contrary, like really? Where are we going? What is the end goal here? What are we trying to accomplish? And trans people included. Some of us have a crabs in a bucket mentality, and they don't want nothing and don't want to see you with it. They don't want nothing, and don't want to see you with it. Now, I'm not going to feel guilty about any girl that I speak on my platform because I don't care if y'all speak on me. I don't care if y'all speak on me. Y'all don't speak on me because you don't want people to find my platform and realize that a lot of y'all been repeating stuff that I done already said. So y'all keep me as the best kept secret in the community. Y'all don't share me and y'all don't mention my name because when people meet me on their own, they're going to get a different interpretation and they're not going to see me the way that you want them to see me. You don't share my content and you don't talk me up because you want to be able to use everything that I'm saying and use my ideas and talk about what I'm saying and not have to cite your source. But that's why I'm different than y'all. I'll say your names on my platform. I've always been like this. I ain't never been afraid or uncomfortable with giving another girl shine and sharing her or talking about her on my platform. I stopped doing it as much because I realized giving a whole lot of you girls life and I wasn't getting any back. But y'all will be in my DM when you don't understand something or you need help with something. You'll get in my DM. Or you'll jump in my DM. But as far as you being on my timeline, showing loyalty publicly, a lot of y'all trolls under the bridge. And I haven't said anything because, again, I see the bigger picture. But I'm not going to never feel uncomfortable about speaking on someone on my platform when I see all of y'all. When I go and look at your social media, you're always, so many of you are inserting yourselves in other people's business. So if your narrative impacts me or it affects me or you're sharing something that pops up on my timeline or I hear about it, I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm going to try to speak on it lovingly. I'm going to try to be thoughtful. I'm going to try not to tear you down. I'm going to try not to condemn you, but I'm going to speak on it. I'm not going to be scared to say you girls' names. None of y'all give a damn who you know in Hollywood, who you know in mainstream, who you connected to. You're putting out content. You're speaking on other people. How could you have a problem with somebody speaking on you? And what you have not seen is me sit up in years and drag somebody. I might speak some truth, pass a little judgment, but you don't see me condemning people. And that's what you can't take. Is that y'all be sitting around here dragging people up under the table. See, you know how to deal with that. You know how to deal with somebody who want to talk crazy to you and yell at you and drag you up under the table. Y'all understand that. But when a girl start reading your soul, when a girl start flipping them tarot cards on you and she don't even need a deck, and I pay attention. A lot of y'all be trying to cast weak ass spells. You be trying to curse something, but you ain't cursing nothing here. Guala la fitun babosa yata. You ain't cursing nothing here. Because I don't sit up and curse you. So we're going to return that back to sender. Even if I don't like you, I'm not cursing you. I don't go to my altar and wish harm on the girls. There was one girl that aggravated me so bad, hurting me so bad, I went and got work done against her. And this was years ago. And the only reason why I let this girl do this work for me is because I thought if I would have done it myself, I may have done it worse because I know how powerful I am. So I asked another girl to do it, and the other girl put some stank on it. And the effects of that to this day. Now, I don't feel bad for what was done, because this girl had been terrorizing me for years. This girl had been making my life difficult for years. I don't feel bad for what was done, but now I continue to pray for her and wish her well, but I fucks with her from a distance. And the girl who did the work for me, you know, I've never asked her to do work for me again. Because what I realized is, if you want to do work on somebody, don't ask nobody else to do no work for you. Because you think you letting that girl off the hook by letting somebody else do the work for you. But I probably should have done the work, because there probably would have been a little bit more compassion shown. But you live and learn. But it's only one time I ever, worked to keep somebody away from me. And I told Empathy this. When me and Empathy fell out the last time, we both cut our hair. And our hair was together on the altar. And I didn't throw her hair away. I could have been doing all type of shit to Empathy hair. I didn't do anything negative to her hair, even though we was mad and Empathy had to say all type of fuck shit to me. And, I knew the love was still there. I knew that this was a season that we was having. And so I went together in my grandmother's yard. That's not working against nobody. Like, you girls are scared of me because you know what you would do if you had my type of power. If you was a girl that could actually say something and it stick. If you was a girl that could actually cast and make it manifest. If you was a girl who had a powerful utterance and when you said things, they manifested, it happened. You girls will be around here speaking tragedy over all your enemies. Every girl you didn't like, you'll be cursing her. And I don't do that. I may read you. I may tell you what you did upset me. It offended me. I may keep it a bean with you, but I am not going to speak against what you are seeking to accomplish. I don't do things like that. Even when I went to that girl, I just asked her to help her to stay away from me, to give me space. I didn't want her popping up, and this is what I asked her for. I didn't ask her to be punished. I just asked for her to stay away from me, to give me peace and to stay out of my life. I asked her to bind her. She threw some extra stuff in there. Because the girl had to say some stuff about her, so she was feeling petty. I don't think she's still on that level. I think the girl have grown. I think we all grow. I think she's still a little petty. I think she can still be very petty. But I I don't think she's as petty as she used to be. I don't think she's as petty as she was then. But it taught me a lesson, and if you learn from something, it's worth it. And it taught me, do your own work. Don't think you saving no girl by asking somebody to do some work for you. Do your own work. And the only reason why I've never been a person who would charge for my work, or my spell casting, or the type of work that I do, my root work, the only reason why I don't charge for that is because I know me. The same way I'm not selling my paintings to anybody or giving my art to anybody. I'm not doing work for anybody. I have to know you. I have to screen you. I have to see what type of character you have. I have to see what type of human being you are, because I want to make sure that I'm not helping you to escape something that you deserve. I want to make sure that I'm not getting in the way of karma. Saving a hoe who not ready to be saved. Because I done that before and got the stab wounds to prove it. So now, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got for this live. Um, I'm moving away from this bleeding heart stage where I'm just around here just feeling sorry for everybody, and just feeling for everybody in their struggle. Like, we all make choices. I've had to pay for mine. I chose to get dick without condoms, hence HIV. I chose to get a sex change, hence I be tired and can only take about 4 inches worth of dick. I choose not to run around here in straight hair all the time. Hence, I don't stay booked and busy. Hence, a lot of people don't see it for my look. I didn't go to college and get a mastery level degree. Hence, I'm not around here making six figures up on the plantation. I don't like dealing with men who want to control me. And typically, the only ones that don't want to control you is the broke ones. So, hence, I've got a lot of bombs on my resume. I sit around and eat stuff that I shouldn't be eating. Hence, I'm 50 pounds overweight. But I'm not blaming you for my problems. I'm not blaming you for the choices I've made. So stop blaming other people for your choices. Stop expecting the world to jump in your pity party. These are choices you made. They talk about this in that Bible you always talking about. We have free will. Not finna sit up here and feel sorry for people who get scammed and conned and hustled. My heart goes out to you. Hopefully something from me. And hopefully it wasn't your karma for scamming and conning and hustling somebody else. We be so quick to feel sorry for these old people who be getting scammed out of all of their benefits and stuff, and we don't know what these old people did. What type of scamming people at organizations? We don't know. Oh, they took this old person life savings. Well, what was this person doing during the course of their life? We don't know. People get on the train and be asking for money and giving you a side story. Baby, what choices have you been making? Baby, what type of choices have you been making? You can't make whatever choice you want to make and think that there's not going to be any consequences for your choices. That's not how the world is set up. Be responsible and accountable for your choices. And people be quick to say that I try to blame other people for my problems. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not taking full responsibility for everything because I was born into a lopsided system of oppression. And it was, like I said in one of my paintings, these are the cards that we were dealt. But at some point, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, we know the deck is rigged against us, and we really don't care as long as we get our cut. Like I said at the beginning of the video, don't get mad when you feel erased. Don't get mad when you don't see no black representation on TV, when every time you look around, you playing a role that was really created for a white person with a straight wig on. That's not inclusion. That's not diversity. That's the same script with a different cast. Child, let me go and get off this live. I done said enough. Anyway, um, I like this candle representing the past, the present, and the future, acknowledging the Trinity. I know that I want to say this before I, get ready to end this. I cannot see the comment section. So whoever was commenting, I cannot see it. There was some things up that was blocking the comment section the whole time I've been talking. I didn't want to get distracted. I didn't know who was going to come on and say something, and I didn't want to get distracted. So I didn't even look in the comment section of this video. So I don't want you to think that I was ignoring you intentionally. I haven't seen any of it. I don't see nothing. What I see right now in front of me is my sign in and sign out, and basically Chrome telling me, how much percentage I got on certain things. So I can't see anything in the comment section. And that was intentional. I didn't even try to close it out so I could see. So, I love y'all. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for whatever comments that you have left that have been positive and have been a blessing to this video, and negative, if they were said with good intentions. I want to thank you for that. But yeah, I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for joining me, and for just for sharing this time with me. But yeah. So I think that's pretty much all I got. Yeah, it's just been today's been a day. It's been a really, really hectic Monday. But yeah, that's it. Down better now that I say cool, it keeps spinning and turning. Ian Gani, Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, you know you are. This candle is lit to acknowledge the past, the present, and the future. And yeah, to acknowledge the past, the present, and the future, the true Trinity. And when this candle is blown out on the physical plane, it grows with intensity on the spiritual plane, guiding us to a time that will hopefully be different from this one in a way that's healing, in a way that's evolutionary, and in a way that helps us to feel more whole. You know, it's not about winning or losing, it's about healing and feeling whole so that we can have more to offer the next generation. Amen, everyone.